This is Gravelly Beach, the place where Sarah Ann was originally launched, and the place where I relaunched her 12 months ago. In this video I find a safe and secure anchorage from the storm in West Arm, and I learn about the perils of a runaway methylated spirit stove and what it can do to your boat. And I discover who actually designed Sarah Ann and what served as her inspiration. A bunch of seagulls create a rookery on board one of Cecil Cartledge's old H-28s. And it's wonderful to be greeted by the ladies after what was quite a challenging 3-day trip from the head of the river to the sea. So back in John's day, when he built Sarah Ann and launched her here, I'm quite sure he didn't have the fancy launching ramp and pontoon that we have here today. Well, after a couple of little hiccups this morning, which had the potential to be quite serious, fortunately I got away with them, but lesson learned, make sure the engine's not in gear when you start it. I'm halfway through my journey from Launceston all the way to Bass Strait. It's a 3-day trip, and the first night I spent at Gravelly Beach. The Tamar River is home to many beautiful wooden boats, some of them beautifully restored like this one, and others in not so good condition. You'll see some examples of that in York Cove later in the video. Many of the wooden boats that you find moored along the banks of the river were built on the Tamar. Thanks for joining me on the journey north. Don't forget to subscribe and like the videos, because that helps me sustain the projects.
Just another honky-tonk, another lonely night, one more wrong.
Join me now for a bit of genuine slow TV as I motor my way up towards the eventual overnight stop in Dark Hollow. The Tamar estuary is swollen and brown with the waters that are being disgorged from the South Esk River system after a very heavy rain event.
And a heartbroken sunrise. What am I looking for? Night after night. What do I want to see in every new lover's eyes?
Built between 1966 and 1968, the Batman Bridge was the first cable-stayed bridge in Australia and among the first of such bridges in the world. The main span is 206 metres long, and it's suspended from a 91 metre high steel A-frame tower. That's 299 feet.
Another lonely night, one more wrong, trying to make it right.
The bridge overlooks the Deviate Sailing Club, and it's named in honour of John Batman, a Launceston businessman and co-founder of Melbourne. If you're overnighting in Launceston, the Batman Faulkner Inn is still a great place for a beverage or two. And while you're there, you can take in the beautiful parquet dance floor that I personally laid back in the 90s. And that's if it hasn't been covered up with carpet by now.
With the rest of my life, all the promises made just couldn't stay dry. Another round for the ones who try to stick around, chase you with the memory of
Strait. Heading up past the woodshed mills, past Middle Island.
Oh mercy me, oh mercy mine. Down on my knees, I got my arms stretched to the sky. Trouble to the left of me, sorrow to the right. Can you hear me, Lord, and can you lead me to the light? I lift my voice, I call your name, as I toil down in this valley of strife and pain. I've been over backwards, paid it all forwards, don't have a dime to my name, and my debt to you could never be repaid. When the heat wave starts to break and the ice and snow melts away, when the tears we've cried have all run dry and we find the rainbow's end, we'll be walking in the sunshine with him.
A little bit of swell rolling in from around the point. And once we get round here, you're really open to the mouth of the river there, which at high tide, it's picking up the swell.
Give me for the trespass. Can't you see I'm running out of time to make it well with my soul by and by?
Very sloppy here. Feels like you're actually not going anywhere, but it says I'm doing 4.7 knots.
When the tears we've cried have all run dry and we find the rainbow's end, we'll be walking in the sunshine with him. When the heat wave starts to break and the ice and snow melts away.
So there you go, they've moved the Whyena. She was sitting over there on the bank there, I think it's called Middle Bank, near Middle Island, and she was didn't have a lot of water there, but now they've moved her over to the berth at the woodchip mill.
Mercy me, oh mercy mine. Oh 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 mercy me, oh mercy mine.
Coming to Dark Hollow here, there's just a couple of shallow bits you got to watch out for. There's a yellow buoy there, and then a couple of green ones. There's starboard markers on the right. Breeze has picked up quite a bit, so it'd be quite nice to get in here in a very sheltered little location, drop an anchor. Now there's the final marker. Dark Hollow in there to the right. That anchor set beautifully well. Bit of a muddy bottom here, I think. There's lots of beer bottles and cans and wine bottles. So half expect the anchor to roll across, skate across the top of all the debris that's on the bottom. Now, Dark Hollow is generally seen as an all-weather anchorage. However, tonight was to be an exception. Oh, it's a long day on the water. It's good to get this gear off. Just catching the last little bit of speck of sunshine as the sun disappears over the hill there. And if I swing around this way, you'll see still catching the headland. It's a beautiful little spot here. That's a very cool breeze that's blowing there. Wind chill is really significant.
I actually met a sailboat in the middle of the North Sea.
There's a quick chicken meal. Just what I needed.
The company was
Something that's quick and easy to prepare and very tasty and wholesome. It's a little boat, but I'm monitoring my anchoring there. You can see I'm starting to swing around the anchor. Seems to be holding quite well. And I'm watching Eric Andreas on his fourth attempt to reach Greenland in Tessie. Pretty good, eh? Apart from a slight taste of methylated spirits on some of the things I've been cooking.
Get rid of all the old shackles, blocks,
I was wondering if that would have been cooked through. Yep. It's heated right through. It's a bit too hot if you know. I've even got a nice little radiator here. Beautiful. Just, I was about to shut it down, but I don't think I'll do that. I think I'll just put the lid on it. Make it work a bit more efficiently. And I can warm my toes, dry my socks out. And the heat that's coming off that thing is unbelievable. Now, I would not do this in a place where there was any possibility of a ship's wash going past. And later in the video, I'm going to show you a perfect example of what happens when one of these methylated spirit stoves gets out of control. Video that's playing there, I don't know if you can see it or not, you can see it here, that's the Morning Vicar, a shrimper, apparently, doing the Tamar River in England, the original Tamar River. Good morning. Well, it's the morning of day 3, Friday, the 14th, I think, of September. And this morning I'm heading across to speak to Gus Cartledge. Now, Gus is the son of Cecil Cartledge, and John, who built this little boat, was apprenticed to Cecil Cartledge and helped him on several of his wooden boat projects, including several H28s and the Taslander. Now, Cecil, it turns out, is an absolute mine of wisdom on wooden boats in general, and in particular Cecil's boats, and even had a great deal of knowledge about Sarah Ann. Now, very interestingly, he's pointed out that John wasn't the designer of Sarah Ann. So, is Sarah Ann a cut-down H28, as some have suggested, or is she a scaled-up H12.5? Or is she something altogether different? Later in this video, you'll find out who it was that actually designed Sarah Ann and what inspiration he had for her design. So the guy that actually designed Sarah Ann, you've got to say he must have at least been influenced by H28s and Herreshoff in general, and he was certainly closely involved with Cecil Cartledge, who built a number of modified H28s. Gus, Cecil's son, suggested to me that Sarah Ann was not ballasted properly when she was launched, and we knew that was the case. Later on, some ballast was put in her, but it was a well-known fact that Sarah Ann was a very, very tender boat and was under ballasted. Well, it turns out that the guy that designed Sarah Ann designed beautiful little boats, but he didn't know how to calculate the displacement ratios and wasn't able to calculate correct ballasting. So John apparently on a particular morning was supposed to have gone across to Cecil Cartledge to cast some lead for Sarah Ann's keel, and for some reason it didn't ever come about. I wired this masthead light up with enough cable to take it to the top of the mast, but on the rare occasion that I use it, I've just been fitting it down low. If it's at the back here, it's going to be extremely visible. It's a very bright light.
On the road, I've been away for far too long, but now I'm on my way back home. I hear the west winds calling out my name. They're telling me to head your way, down your road and past your gates. Keep your eyes on the horizon.
Absolutely flying down the river now, doing 6.5 knots of tide into 15 knots of breeze. Just going past the pontoon at Clarence Point and right out of the wind. I think the generator might be in the process of destroying itself. When I get in here into York Cove, I might disconnect the belts and then I'll have to hand crank.
On the road, I've been away for far too long, but now I'm on my way back home. I hear the west winds calling out my name. They're telling me to head your way, down your road and past your gates. Keep your eyes on the horizon. I was looking to belong when I'd already found my home.
This is a Walker H28, which is a slightly modified H28 built out of fiberglass, and what you see here is the result of a methylated spirit stove getting out of control. What was a beautifully maintained boat is a complete write-off.
I was looking to belong when I already found my home.
This is a Cecil Cartledge H28 built during the 60s from Hue and Pine. The cabin has been modified. I'm told that the hull is very sound, but the deck is probably rotten, which is the beginning of the end because the fresh water is starting to get in there now. I guess you start to suspect that there's a problem with the ongoing maintenance of a boat when the seagulls move beyond just resting on your boat and form a full-time breeding colony. While I was at York Cove, I had an amazing opportunity to sit down and have a yarn over a coffee with Gus Cartledge. Gus is the son of Cecil Cartledge, who built 50 boats on the Tamar River. John Philp, the builder of Sarah Ann, was apprenticed to Cec. He assisted Cec on 4 of those projects. Cecil was born on the front deck of an 18-foot cod boat. The boat was pulled up on the shore at the very southern end of the Tamar estuary at what was at that time Margaret Street. When Sess's mother went into labour suddenly, they looked around for somewhere safe and secure for her to give birth and placed her on the front of the boat, where Sess emerged into the world. I asked Gus if he knew anything about the origins of the design for Sarah Ann. Various conversations which I've had with people online have suggested that Sarah Ann might be kind of a shrunk version of an H28 or possibly even an expanded version of an H12.5. But it turns out that none of that is true. Sess was friends with a Launceston architect by the name of Dick Thompson. Dick was a ruddy-skinned, red-headed, veiny, big bloke. He had two sons, Richard and Ted. Dick went to sea as a cadet, and he ended up as captain of the Princess of Tasmania and the Empress. These were the major route connecting Tasmania to the mainland of Australia. Dick enjoyed the odd drop of liquor, it turns out, and ended up being questionably discharged when he was found in his cabin, unconscious. Well, Dick had a huge collection of Ruddy magazine, which no doubt gave him quite a bit of exposure to Herreshoff boats. But he designed Sarah Ann as a unique individual design which John bought. There was a 22-foot version, one of which was called Van Diemen, and John built this 18-footer and named her Sarah Ann. Gus has been led to believe that Dick's portfolio of boat plans has been destroyed, unfortunately, but he's still got the frames to the 22-footer and the 18-footer in his possession. I'm going down in a couple of weeks to have another chat with Gus and might be able to actually get hold of some of those frames, especially for my little 12-footer. So here's my pack animal. This is AJ. She's helping me put Sarah Ann on the mooring, and she's sitting out there safe as she can be, along with a whole lot of other boats in the area as well. Two happy ladies waiting for the return of their mariners. Bridges Head at its very finest, and this is Bass Strait at its finest. So we used to come fishing in a little 12-foot wooden dinghy out around this point. I'll show you some more of Badger's Head in upcoming videos. So thanks very much for watching the video this far through. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember that if you go onto Patreon, it's free and you get to see all my real-time updates